Welcome to webinar 1 of the Player Skills project. Player Skills is an Erasmus Plus project carried out by a partner consortium from 6 European countries. The partner organizations in this project are COESO, Consorzio di Cooperative Sociali from Italy, Future in Perspective Limited from Ireland, Centro de Formación Somorrostro from Spain, Enter GmbH from Austria, Otto von Guericke Universität from Germany, Factor Social from Portugal. The leading partner of this project is Jugendamtwerk Steiermark GmbH from Austria. The project addresses young people at risk, people with fewer opportunities and needs, not in education, employment or training. The results. In the first phase of our project, we wanted to find out about the smartphone consumption of our target group. These findings are incorporated into the development, testing and mainstreaming of a mobile gaming app. To support vocational education training professionals, VET professionals, in their work, the project develops guidelines to ensure that full benefit can be gained from target group members using and playing the mobile gaming app. Goals: to motivate our target group to take part in vocational education, to get in contact with guidance and counseling services from VET providers, or to enter the world of labor. To raise self-esteem and self-awareness of our target group. To raise their confidence in the competences they already have gained, even though they have dropped out of the education and VET systems. To inform them about their vocational opportunities and bridging to VET counseling services in the local area of target group members. In order to obtain concrete and current data on the NEET target group, the project conducted a survey on 2 levels with different stakeholders during the research phase. Our goal was to learn more about the habits of young people at risk from their smartphone use. We wanted to find out how they use electronic devices, which applications are particularly appealing to them at the moment, and what the parameters of an app suitable for the target group must have. We were interested in their approach to advertisements in gaming apps as a basis for the development work in Output 2. In this way, we will have a better understanding of the motivational factors of our target group. The Player Skills project partners also approached VET professionals to get their views on smartphone use by young people at risk. In particular, we turned to adult educators, trainers, youth workers, street workers, and educational and career counselors who work with our target group or are in contact with them. We wanted to learn more about their approach towards our project and proposed tool and their assessment of how helpful an app can be for our target group. The survey method chosen for the project was an online survey developed during the first project meeting in November 2019. As a result of this development, 2 different surveys for NEETs and VET professionals were created. In order to get a clear picture of the skills needed to enter the labor market, we interviewed labor market experts. Our aim was to establish the level of expertise and understanding from people who know the local and regional labor market in the partner countries well, and also know our target group. These interviews were short and had a clear focus on the view of the competences required by the labor market. We were also interested in the existing skill gaps that do not match the requirements of the labor market. What are the obstacles for young people at risk to enter the labor market? How could these obstacles best be overcome? Of course, we also asked the experts for an assessment of our app. To complete our activities, the project did a desktop research about various existing open source apps that covers at least one of the 8 defined key competences. The smartphone use of our target group is a very important starting point for our project plan. In order to prioritize the needs of our target group, we asked young people at risk how they use their smartphones. We collected data regarding the importance of understanding needs in all our 6 project partner countries. In summary, the analysis of the responses to our survey shows that the needs target group was well reached. In total, 253 people participated in the survey. 152 people filled it in completely, but 62 people did not complete the survey. The project also sees this as a special characteristic of the target group, where a lack of self-confidence and low frustration tolerance can prevent them from getting tasks done. The gender distribution among the persons who provided information was as follows. Over 53% female, more than 44% male, and 1.86% other. The average age of the respondents in our survey was 21.16 years. We received 126 answers to the questions about the highest educational level. 4.74% said they had no degree, 19.37% specified EQF level 2, and more than 50% EQF level 3 to 4, which means that almost 80% are at level 4 or below. Our respondents are very ambitious in their goals. More than 3/4 of the respondents see themselves in employment, in further education, or traveling in the coming year. So there is a very clear idea of changing and improving their current life situation. This is a very positive aspect for us. When it comes to barriers that prevent people from achieving their educational or career aspirations, fewer opportunities in my town city, or not knowing what I want to be were mentioned most frequently. The results of the survey showed that the smartphone is a permanent daily companion for young people. They use it intensively and carry it with them permanently. The most frequently used apps fall into 4 categories. Social media apps are used most frequently, followed by music and audio, entertainment, and gaming apps. Instagram and WhatsApp are by far the most commonly used social media platforms of the respondents. The 8 most popular apps: Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, TikTok, Netflix, Snapchat. Young people also use their smartphone to a large extent as a gaming device. The preferred gaming categories are strategy games, followed by action games and music games. Only 0.32% of the respondents stated that they do not use gaming apps. According to our target group, the most popular gaming apps are Clash Royale and Clash of Clans, followed by Call of Duty and Candy Crush. It's striking that by far the most frequently mentioned games are so-called massively multiplayer online games. This refers to a type of computer game that offers players a virtual persistent world and can be played by very many, often several thousand players simultaneously via the internet. Typically, the players interact and communicate with each other and thus jointly shape the progression in the virtual world. In contrast to single-player games, the interaction of as many players as possible with each other is one of the central themes and goals of MMOGs. The games are therefore designed in such a way that some goals can almost only be achieved with coordinated actions. Many players therefore form groups, which in turn support or fight each other. This can result in extremely complex organizational structures and hierarchies. In order to maintain such an organization, intensive communication between the players is of particular importance. This, combined with the sometimes very time-consuming gameplay, results in highly distinctive and independent online communities. The added value of these games, therefore, clearly consists of the networked global use, communication with each other, and playing in teams. Relevant for our project is the fact that more than half of the respondents said they were familiar with learning apps or had already used such apps. Here there is a clear line of the answers. Apps that support the respondents in preparing for the driver's license were named the most. These apps combine education with some concrete direct benefit to achieve a goal. This benefit is clearly recognized by the target group, is highly valued, and is therefore also applied. Mobility is an important independence factor for young people. It is interesting to note that language learning was mentioned in second place. Communication is therefore also a very important topic for our target group. The global gaming world is very important for our respondents. In-app advertisements are rejected by the vast majority or are considered as a necessary evil. Only 14% watch these ads often, almost always or always. This is a clear mandate for the project to adapt these ads briefly and as much as possible to the interests of the target group. To get a comprehensive picture of the smartphone usage of our target group, we also asked VET professionals for their expertise. This group of people are in contact with NEETs and can provide important information for our project plans. The question about the use of apps in professional dealings with the target group also provide information about whether the use of apps is part of the everyday training routine. In total, we have reached 197 VET professionals. 57% of the respondents also work professionally with NEETs. The majority of the people interviewed work as teachers or trainers in the VET sector. Altogether, more than half of all participants in the survey, 57%, gave us this answer. 80% work as employment advisors, followed by 16% who worked as counselors and 77% as social workers. The survey reached more women, 58%, than men, 41%. The average age of the respondents was 42 years. In terms of the highest level of education, 25% of our respondents said they had achieved EQF level 5 to 6. Another 21% achieved EQF level 7 and 8. 48% didn't give us an answer to this question. The results of the answers given clearly show that VET professionals all have higher educational qualifications. The question of the assessment of key competences for the labor market resulted in the following result. By far the most important competence rated was communication skills with 13% of all answers. In second place came the problem-solving competences, and in third place the social skills. It is noticeable that all of the predefined competences are given importance, apart from the communication skills. All other competences are closely related. Not surprisingly, the English language answers have hardly given any importance to the foreign language skills. When asked about the use of learning apps by VET professionals, one can see country-specific differences. 72% of the Spanish-speaking VET professional stated that they also use learning apps in their work. This is significantly higher than the average value of the received answers. In total, the yes and no answers almost balance each other out. Learning apps are not a complete unknown to professionals, but they are rarely used in trainings. Very relevant for our project work is the assessment of the importance of key competences for the VET professionals. The predefined choices ranged from totally unuseful to totally useful. Each one of the 8 specified competences were rated by the respondents as being of above average importance. A closer look at the individual results shows that 7 of the 8 proposed competences achieved a value above 4, which means useful. Only the competence spatial awareness remains just below this value at 3.9. The key competence logical thinking is by far the best rated with an average of 4.43. This is followed by literacy, coping with stress, numeracy, attention to details, memory, and strategic planning. These 6 competences are very close together in the rating. In the survey, we asked the VET professionals to name the barriers they found using a gaming app. In summary, it can be said that the VET professionals are quite positive about the use of a gaming app. 36% said that they did not see any barriers in using it. Many of them gave a very positive feedback to this idea. The concerns that were mentioned can be roughly divided into 2 categories. Lack of resources. VET professionals pointed out that some young people do not own a smartphone or have too little data credit available. Some mentioned that not all young people have access to the internet. When used in class, it is also not possible to ensure that each participant is provided with his or her own device. The smartphone as a disruptive factor. Some VET professionals stated that the smartphone easily distracts young people from learning. The temptation to get out of the learning app and use the smartphone for other things is high. Some VET professionals reject learning with the smartphone because they believe that it leads to social isolation. In the survey, we also asked the VET professionals whether they themselves have received further training in the use of educational apps. 16% answered this question with yes, 56% with no. The result shows that the use of learning apps in adult education is not yet standardized, and that there is a need for train to the trainers course offered in this area. %68% of the interviewed stakeholders think that our listing of key competences are all relevant for the entry into the labor market. 51% of respondents have explicitly stated that sufficient knowledge in basic skills, literacy, numeracy, ICT skills, is very important for entering the labor market. These basic skills may lead to a placement into the labor market. The interviewees also added important skills from their perspective. The following skills were mentioned: communication skills such as active listening, adapting the communication style to the situation, giving and receiving feedback, critical or logical thinking, including the skills of decision making and problem solving. One of the interviewees stated on the subject of critical thinking: someone with critical thinking skills can be trusted to make decisions independently and will not need constant hand-holding. Emotional skills such as self-awareness, self-control, self-motivation, and empathy. Flexibility, learning flexibility and adaptability to new contexts. Gaps between young people and companies. Companies demand work experience. Respondents told us that the biggest gap between young people and the companies is the demand for experience that companies require and the low capacity and time they spend training the young trainees. The world of work needs excellent performance but does not know how to build it, nor does it admit to investing time to build that performance. Needs do not have skills and excellence, and companies do not know or do not want to invest to build it. Education system doesn't match the needs of the labor market. The discrepancy begins in the education system itself, which does not prepare children and young people for the real needs of the world of work, due to an excessively tight compartmentalization that both the business community and the self-education systems have imposed on themselves for many years. Commitment from both sides. Young people often do not know if they are welcome in a company. The companies are not sure if the trainees are committed to their company visions. Companies choose their employees very carefully. They invest, so to speak, in the individual skills of their staff. In return, employers expect reliability and loyalty from their employees. The search for an immediate reward from needs is not suited to the traditional progression in a company. On the other hand, young people need to develop self-esteem and a feeling of being needed. If this mutual trust grows, there is a good chance that the young people will commit themselves to their tasks in the companies. Persistence and motivation. The life story of many needs is marked by many setbacks and frustrations. Many still do not know what they would like to do professionally. If there is a contact person in the company who accompanies them for the first time and who also praises them for successful work, the young trainees can build up confidence in their abilities. This confidence helps them in smaller crises and makes them survive this crisis. Lack of personal and social skills. The respondents told us that a main discrepancy resides in personal and social skills. Technical skills tend to be developed in a formative and/or academic plan of easy design and execution. The great challenge is to provide this audience with hope, motivation, purpose, self-efficacy, beliefs, etc. Importance of flexibility. In the world of work, we need increased doses of adaptation to the change and flexibility, cognitive and behavioral. We work in organizations that are experiencing intense processes of change and transformation. If we don't learn to learn, always learn, have flexibility and look at problems through different lenses, our employability and competitive value are compromised. How to engage young people within the labor market? Mentoring and support. Our interviewees responded that career and guidance counselors, both from private services and public employment services, or in general labor stakeholders, should explain the youngsters which are the major sectors in demand of personnel, and they should indicate the best ways to be trained in that field, providing them with experiences that allow them to know different work realities. The development of mentoring programs with experienced elements in work contexts of interests to these young people could be an example as well. Job shadowing, on-the-job training. Respondents thought that on-the-job training experiences in its various forms could be a good opportunity to bring learners and young people closer to the world of work. It involves working with another employee who might have a different job in hand, have something to teach, or be able to help the person shadowing him or her to learn new aspects related to the job, organization, certain behaviors or competences. This can be an effective tool for learning and integration into the world of work. Creation of a competency model. Creation of a competency model and train for young people for excellence can be a way to engage young people within the labor market. Needs will learn how the labor market works and the path they must take in order to be attractive in that same market. Encourage to make degrees. The world of work likes people with completed trainings or degrees. An important task of the educational system is to encourage young people to finish vocational trainings. stronger linking of educational systems and the world of work. It is necessary to join efforts between schools and the community to strengthen the contact between schools and companies as well as between schools and training centers in order to be able to reach young people more easily. Those still in the education system and those who have already left from there, for which different strategies must be devised, always considering their individual profiles or mobilization and motivation. Improve communication skills and language skills. Communication skills and language skills should be adapted to a more up-to-date reality to improve communication with young people and enhance their motivation to the proposed objectives and, very importantly, to be able to ensure the motivation for the job market and make it happen. Training and individual support. Needs need punctual support because although they have qualifications, they are passive and need some assistance and coaching when looking for work. It could be also the case that they need more specific support because they lack qualifications and lack training or are included in professional internship programs. It is likely that there are also many people with special and/or permanent follow-up needs with greater difficulties in professional integration. The answer to the question if a gaming app can reconnect needs to the world of work was a resounding yes for the majority of the respondents. Some interviews expressed concern that this app could also distract young people. How interesting such an app can be was shown by the fact that the interviewed experts immediately thought about how this app could look like. According to the respondents, it is very important that this gaming app allows them to progressively develop skills and increase their self-confidence. A matrix for the desk-based research was developed and can be downloaded on our website playerskills.eu. This matrix contains relevant information for the project. Besides the competences covered, there is also a short description of the app contents. Furthermore, a reason for the selection of this app can be confirmed. A further category in this matrix is dedicated to the reference to the project plans of the Player Skills project. Since the app will be available in 5 languages, one column of the matrix is dedicated to the available languages. Basically, the project was looking for free downloadable apps, at least in the basic version. This was our webinar 1 from the Play Your Skills project.